I've been head teacher at St Joseph's Roman Catholic High School for 2 years, and before that I was deputy head teacher at the school, and had a previous experience then as a school improvement advisor with Newport City Council, and had done some work in initial teacher training as well, and started my career teaching English in schools in South Wales. Just the sheer amount of change that happens in education and managing the workload for the teaching profession and for other professionals working in education, support staff and admin staff, to help facilitate that change, much of which is positive, but to help to ensure that we look after those staff and help them to maintain a sense of well-being and a work-life balance as well. And I think that's a significant challenge to schools. All too often, as leaders, we can, we're aware of that bigger picture, and if we're not careful, we can forget what it's like to teach 45, 46 hours a fortnight, whilst expected to manage significant curriculum and assessment change as a teacher or a member of support staff. And I think from a leadership team perspective, we have to play a really key role in ensuring we empower our teachers to do the job that they're paid to do. Distributive leadership is very much at the heart of what we do at St Joseph's. We believe passionately in developing leadership skills in our young people, those skills that are going to help them to access the workplace and to develop and make a valuable contribution to their communities. And I think it's important that we as a school model that distributive leadership in the way that we do business as well. So here we believe very much in that distributive model, with opportunities for teaching and non-teaching staff to take clear responsibilities for projects, for line management, and for development of ideas across the school. In three ways, primarily. First of all, formally, in that we plan for leadership development opportunities for our staff and for our students. A good example this year is that on our school development plan, we wanted to provide opportunities for a number of our experienced middle leaders to gain experience of being on a senior leadership team and taking responsibility for key aspects of our school development planning. And we've done that, and that's already proving to be hugely successful. Secondly, we invest in leadership development, whether that be for teacher development or moving into middle leadership, whether it be pastoral or academic, or whether it be moving into senior leadership positions. We've invested in it financially and in terms of time. And finally, I think we've certainly tried to develop a culture whereby we talk openly about leadership and we focus on the culture, the tone of the way that we do business. And I think a lot of our success here is built on relationships, and that's at the heart of the kind of the dialogue we have around leadership and the idea of knowing your people, knowing your people, knowing your people. I think one of the biggest challenges early on in headship certainly was the sense of accountability, that suddenly I was responsible for 1,500 young people, 130 staff and a significant budget, and that kind of recognition day one was somewhat daunting, but also a really exciting challenge. But I suppose the idea of making sure you treat people as they need to be treated, rather than treating everybody the same way, and the idea that ensuring educationists at different stages of their careers get the support and challenge that they need to do to flourish. I think that's been a real leadership challenge, to ensure that actually supporting and challenging staff at different stages of their career is a kind of bespoke, detailed, personal process. And also that I'm hopefully leading by example in the way that I do business. And I think that leadership lesson, that actually your eyes are on you all the time, that's something I've learned as well, and that the messages that one sends can be very powerful, even when you don't realise you're sending out messages. So yeah, lots of leadership challenges, lots of lessons learned, but a wonderful thing to do as well, wonderful opportunity. I think to ensure that you do the very best for your staff and for the children and for the community you work in, I think you have to be a good listener and a sensitive listener as a leader, and that's certainly, I think, something that I have learned and continue to strive for. And when things are urgent and there's lots of operational things that you need to deal with, sometimes it can be harder to listen. And here in the community we've got, yesterday I was talking to a group of our learning coaches who had some great ideas, and they wanted to see that, to see some of that stuff become a reality. And it was great just listening to them, and they appreciated the fact that they were listened to, that meant a lot and will help to move us on in some ways with the ideas that they've got. I think to be a really effective leader in schools, you do have to be aware of the differences between working with children sometimes and actually leading people and adults. And whilst lots of the skill sets and lots of the qualities that you develop as a teacher or a teaching assistant can help you leading people, there are differences and there are different approaches and there are different ways of working. Some of the approaches are remarkably similar, but I think that can be a big lesson to learn, and the idea that suddenly you're accountable for more than just the children in your classroom, for example. And I think can be a big lesson and a big jump for teachers moving into leadership positions in schools.
So Trevor, thank you very much indeed for all your time today. Much appreciated. It's been great to hear you talk about some of your leadership experience and what's important to you.
It's a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.